Hello out there. Welcome to the Heavy Montae's comedy show and my podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, the Republican Party is a criminal organization. And I say this all the time. And I say to everybody, what do we expect when we elect a convict for our president? And when we do this, they can expect, and they will be, in the opinion of Heavy Montae, some criminal behavior. Now, the Republican Party is just doing whatever they want. Lawless, breaking the law, kidnapping people off the street, taking them to concentration camps in El Salvador, and then covering it up and saying we don't want to bring people back when the courts tell them to do so. Telling people they want to take over the voting rights, the voting system, nationalize it, take it away from the states, you see? So President Trump can get a third, fourth, or fifth term as president so they can start rigging everything, America. But the American people are not standing for it. Now, I understand and I see that people are standing up to Trump now. The only people that are not standing up to Trump is the Republican in Congress, the House and the Republican Senate. Well, we got to get rid of them. We got to get rid of them during the midterms, and we got to keep the pressure on Trump because Trump is working real hard to stop the next election because he knows he's going to lose. Ain't nobody going to be voting for no Republicans. What are they going to tell you? I can see that Republican politician coming there now saying, I need your vote. Because you don't have liberals to lie about anymore, Republicans, because you control everything. You see, America gave you a chance. The maggot voter who was maggotized in those maggot churches, and maggotized by all the signs that you put out, and maggotized by Donald Trump lying to people, just telling people outright lies. And the people believed it because they want to believe it. Because those people that voted for Donald Trump, a lot of them, they say, are misogynists, and they voted for a rapist, in my opinion, they say. Now, I want to say one thing else about this right here. Donald Trump thinks he is a king. One man, one rule. What I say, go. And he is an ignorant man. I want to say, I ask a question to all of my followers on Blue Skies and all my friends on Facebook, friends and family. Do you really think Donald Trump is a very smart person, or is he an ignorant man? Huh? He's an ignorant man. He comes in talking like an ignorant man, looking like an ignorant man. Got gold paint all over his face. They say that he's wearing dark makeup now. Somebody talking about it was that he did it by mistake. He didn't do it by mistake. He ordered the wrong color because he had a gold face walking around for a couple of days. But I think they got it straightened out. And his weave, he got a weave. That weave he got on his head was knocking the last time I saw it. It was blowing in the wind. You see what I'm saying? Donald Trump is holding on. He don't want to go to jail. But the long arm of the law will get you sooner or later. You see what I'm saying? I said in previous podcasts and previous shows that Donald Trump is playing for pardon. He said, if I do a bunch of mean, nasty things, I can figure out the nastiest thing I can do and they can find out. The only way I resign, because I'm the president and I got immunity. They can't do nothing to me. So what's going to happen? I'm going to do something nasty and mean that they're going to have to come to me and say, Mr. President, you have to resign. And Donald Trump will look him right in the face and say, only if you pardon me, you see. And the pardon power of the president, they say, is absolute. So that's what Donald Trump is playing for America. You can believe it. You heard it right here from Heavy Montae. You see, the Republican Party is about making money. Money for the billionaires and the millionaires. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene went in when she came to Congress with $700,000. Now she's worth $22 million, and she's still telling the people in the 18th district of Georgia, I'm one of y'all. I'm a Christian. Look at me. They did me wrong. You see what I'm saying? You see that somebody over there? You saw AOC? Oh no, she not one of us. You see what I'm saying? And she's a millionaire. But them stupid maggots didn't know it because they were being maggotized. I told you about my friend. I got to tell this story because somebody asked me on the chat. They said, tell me the story. Tell me what maggotized means. I said, okay, it's like baptized. They take you to the maggot church. It happened to a good friend of mine. I told you, I used to play basketball with him. Me and him were talking one day, and he was talking some good liberal stuff. I said, I'm not going to push it. Look, we got a bolt here. So then, this lady, her name was Sandra Simmons. I can call her name because she's a maggot, and she don't care if people know she's a maggot. She invited him to the maggot church. You see what I'm saying? When she invited him to the maggot church, I saw him one day walking down the street with a red hat on. And, I'm a big time, hockey fan. Our hockey team here. The Red Wings. I got everything. I got the whole outfit. You'll see me walking down the street with the whole outfit on. Supporting my team. You know what I'm saying? So he saw the red hat. I saw the red hat and I got excited even though we didn't make the playoffs this year. I said Stanley Cup has eluded us again. Well, we're going to get it back. Don't worry about that. But anyway, I saw him, with the red hat on, and he turned around and the hat said, MAGA. I said, oh, Lord. I said, oh, Lord, they got my friend. But he did not only have on the MAGA hat, he had on the shirt, the pants, the shoes, and the socks. I said, oh, Lord, my best friend got my maggotized. And he been working, too, recruiting maggots, over his house. You know what I'm saying? He invited me over there. I said, no. I went to one of them, just to spy and see what was going on. And they were talking some stuff. I didn't even understand it. But I went. And this is why you should go listen to them maggots, They said that Joe Biden was doing some bad stuff. That's all they were talking about. Biden, 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 Biden. I couldn't take it. So I left. I never went back again. But ladies and gentlemen, what it is, that's what it was. And that's what it is. It is magnification, I call it. It's when they convince you to hate your country, to tell you that, somebody is coming here taking all the white people's space. Yeah, somebody is taking their space, all right, because people are marrying whoever they want. Nobody wants to be waking up in a country of one race of people. We don't even want to talk about this stuff anymore. This race stuff. Ain't but a MAGA to play the race card every time. You know what I'm trying to tell you? That's the only thing they have to tell you that this guy is against you, cultural issues, this person is against you, and none of that stuff feeds your family. None of that stuff makes us safe. None of that stuff that they're preaching take care of your children in schools and our education system. See, they're trying to take everything and tear it apart. Now, this is what they said. This is their philosophy and this strategic plan, America. They are saying that they're going to break the government and tear it down. You see what I'm saying? Something that took hundreds of years to build. Okay? Tear it down. Because the government is inefficient and it's not working when the red states that make up most of the nation are controlled by Republicans. Everything. They got the state money and the federal money. They put that stuff together. And also these red states, they don't pay a whole lot of money into the federal government, but they take a lot. Take more than what they pay into the government. And a huge percentage of these maggots don't even pay any taxes. You see what I'm trying to say? But you hear them talking, oh, our money, our money, our money. The black people taking the jobs, these people taking the jobs. Women are in the way, the women are doing this right here. We can't get a girlfriend. You're saying, oh, wife. You know what I'm saying? They're always complaining about somebody else because that is the Republican Party game. It is a party that makes this money out of dividing people on some very simple issues. It's wrong to be a racist. It's wrong to support, people, and these jokers ain't no good, like Donald Trump. You know in your heart that Donald Trump is not a good man or a good person, in the opinion in my opinion. You know good and well Donald Trump is not a good man, so why did you vote for him? You see what I'm saying? Again, all my followers on Blue Sky and all my friends and family on Facebook, please let us know why anyone would vote for a man like Donald Trump. This is Heavy Montae and the Heavy Montae Comedy Show and the Heavy Montae Podcast. Please subscribe and have a wonderful day, America. And we got these maggots on the rope and we're going to vote them out. And again, never, ever vote for a Republican because Republicans stink. They stink with the smell of Elon Musk. I call him Leon Musk. They stink with the smell of Donald Trump. They stink with the smell of a cowardly, won't even show their faces in their district Republican Congress. That's right in the House. And the ones in the Senate ain't no better. They are a bunch of Looney Tune, weird old nuts that don't respect the Constitution, and we need to vote them out. Have a great day, America.